Greetings, Commanders. This is Commander Atlas Rand, and today we are doing day 2 video. Although it's really more like day 1.5. It's essentially, if day 1 is you just going through the tutorials and starting life in the beginner zone, which once you leave, you cannot go back into. Day 2 is really your first day out of the beginner system, I guess is the way I would phrase it. So you could do probably day 1, 2, and 3 all on one day, but I'm just going to call this day 2. So what are we doing today? Today we're going to make a little bit of money for you so that you have options to choose from. And I know a lot of videos have covered like what do you do initially, but as I did in my first day 1 video, I'm going to go very slowly. I'm going to actually do the things I'm telling you to do and show you exactly how they work. Now you'll recall that in the first video, I had talked about a couple of websites that are very useful, and that is Inara and Etsy for ship configurations. And then the third one was spanch.co.uk, which I think I even said is a horrible name for a website, a horrible address. All of them are listed in the description of the video, so you don't have to type anything in. You could just click on them, but they are there. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I'm in my little Sidewinder here. I'm going to disembark. So this can be done at virtually any station. Any station that you can get out and walk in. They can even be the smaller station. Now I happen to be at a larger station. But this could be done at the stations that you don't fly into, but you land on top of as well. And what we're going to do here is make sure that you have the appropriate suit purchased. Now I kind of mentioned this in the day 1 video, but we're actually going to do it here. So here's my station, Hubble ring, probably for the same Hubble as the Hubble telescope, I would imagine.
What brings you here, Commander?
And we're going to go to Pioneer Supply.
I've got some transport work.
And you've got a little bit of money from your training
Weapon
missions.
upgrading? I've got you covered.
You will have enough for this.
I've
So
got
you
the
go
best
up
stock in the
here.
system.
You want to browse the stock. And we're going to be looking at suits.
All our skins are guaranteed brand new.
The suit you want is the Artemis, because the Artemis suit has a genetic sampler in it. Now you can see there are 3 types of suits that are for sale. Dominator suit. It has 2 primary weapons, 1 secondary. It has a profile analyzer, energy link, and it's got a little bit more shield strength, I believe. The Maverick suit has an energy link as well and a profile analyzer as well, but it also has an arc cutter for cutting into metal. Has, I think, a little bit less shield strength. This is the suit that you will use when you're doing missions that involve breaking into stations or like on planet stations, not floating stations. I guess they're settlements. When you're breaking into or you're doing assassination missions or something at planet settlements. The Dominator suit is really a purely military suit. This will be used if you're doing missions on planets at settlements that involve basically PvE or potentially even PvP missions to capture settlements. So this is like a military suit. This one is more of a bounty hunting / breaking in and piracy suit. And the Artemis suit is the one that we're getting. This has a genetic sampler, has the weakest shield strength, etc. So you should have enough money from the very get-go to buy one of these suits. Now, it's not going to leave you a whole lot of money, but it'll leave you some.
The Artemis is definitely the right suit.
So that's all you need to do is buy it. Now, you could also buy weapons here, but honestly, this is for later. your first goal is to make money. Now, I've got a whole bunch of money here because I've already done a few things with this account. But this account actually is very new. It's just that I've done activities like fighting Thargoids and nothing else. Just fighting Thargoids that have given me some money here.
Come back
So you will hit
anytime.
goodbye, leave the station, and then remember from video of day 1, Vista Genomics is where you're going to sell the scans that we now go to do. So you're going to be coming back here or any large station, and I don't think the smaller stations have Vista Genomics. All the large stations do, and some carriers do. And I think most settlements on the planets do, although don't quote me on that. Now, while we're here, I should mention that Frontline Solutions is where you will go to sign up to do military action. That's what one of those suits was for. Let's see if they have anything available here.
Just so you know,
They don't.
no active. I'm sure
Nothing active. So if there was some active military missions, you could sign up to take them there. And you would actually take one of those elevators. They would fly you and drop you off from a dropship, which is pretty cool. On the other side, we have Apex Solutions, which is the in-game taxi service that you can take. If you don't want to fly your own ship, you can take one of these shuttles, one of these taxis, to fly to pretty much anywhere. And then, of course, we also have the bar area. The bar, ironically, doesn't sell drinks. I think I also mentioned this in the day 1 video, but is used for trading various goods with the bartender. And all these people standing around with blue icons over their heads, they're mission givers. This is normal sort of RPS type game mission givers. So if you want to get a mission, you have 2 options. You can come up to one of these people with a blue circle, or you can come up to a terminal, hit E, go to the mission board, and then also see what missions are here. Now, the people standing around, their missions are not listed here because their missions tend to be illegal. But they also have missions to give you that are similar to these, usually pay more, usually also involve more risk. So we're not going to do that on day 2, although we may do it later. Now, exit. Come on. Why am I not? There we go. Couldn't walk away from there. So let's go back down, get an elevator back to your ship. And we're going to go make a little bit of money doing a very safe activity by scanning plants. Okay. There's our little tiny Sidewinder. And incidentally, you will only need to take the Sidewinder out for this one time. Because when we get back and we sell the scans that we did, you'll be able to buy a much better ship immediately. So you will only use this starter ship unless you like it, which I kind of doubt because it's not very good. But you will only use it this once. Okay, and now that you're on the ship, there's one more thing to get for the ship itself. So we're going to go to Star Service, or what are they? Station Services, Starport Services. Outfitting. And this is our basic configuration here. We're going to go into Optional Internals. And we're going to select, where is it? Surface Scanner. So there's our detailed surface scanner. We'll go ahead and buy that. You should have the funds to buy that. If you don't, if for whatever reason that price was combined with the suit was more than the amount of money you had, then there is something else you can do here. Which is selling some data for your scans while you're jumping. But I think you're going to have enough. If I remember right, doing this the last time, I should have enough. So If you don't have enough, look for the post in this video that is pinned that will lead you to a separate link that either describes or is a link to a video that shows what to do if you don't have enough money for both these. But let's just assume you've got the money to buy the detailed surface scanner and as well as the suit that we just bought, the Artemis suit. All right. So what we're going to do, no, we can't sell any of this stuff. I was wondering if we could sell any of this stuff. So using everything at default, the way it is, we're going to launch out of here by doing an auto launch. And at the same time, I'm going to flip over to this website. So this website is spanch.co.uk/exobiology. But you can just go to spanch.co.uk, which is the link that you'll see. And then go to this menu on the left side, next to what looks like a record album. And select Expressway to Exomastery. Now, Expressway to Exomastery can do a lot of powerful things. It'll basically tell you how to find a lot of different planets with the type of exobiological plants that you're looking for. At this point, you don't really care what you're looking for nearby. So the first thing is we need to tell what our maximum range of the ship is. And I can tell you the standard range of the starter ship is 8 light years, which is very small. Well, just put that in there. Maximum systems, we're not going to need to do more than 3 systems. Well, let's say 4. Let's say 4 systems. What does it say? Maximum number of the systems. Yeah. Where are we now? Now, I happen to be in... easiest way to look at this is on the star map. It's a system called Münchheim, but obviously put your system in here. So I'll put that in there. Destination system. I don't think that is a requirement. I think we can leave that blank. Avoid Thargoids. Yes, have that checked. Loop. Yes. Maximum distance arrival. Bring this all the way down and then put in, let's put in 1,000. And then the minimum value that we're looking for is, let's say 2 million. So 2,000,000. And then hit calculate. Unable generator range. Okay, so it's not letting me do it. So let's do... I don't think this will matter. Let's try increasing the maximum distance to 2,000. Let's try that. Nope. So that wasn't it. So let's try minimum value of 1. Let's just... any minimum value, so it doesn't matter. I didn't like that. Okay. So range in light year. Oh, I put the range in the wrong place. There we go. So range should be 8. That's how far we can fly. Light year, let's say 25. And then let's put this back to 2 million. 2,000,000, and then calculate. Range must be greater than 10. Okay, fine. Let's pretend the range is 10. Even though it's actually 8. Okay. So it found the system that is 3 jumps away that has a $16 million worth of stuff to scan. Let's change this 5 to 10. I see if that makes any difference. Nope. Okay. So where I'm at, it looks like there's only one system within a reasonable distance. And that is this Lumens. So, we could also get rid of loop. Calculate. Okay. So lumens. So take that. That little icon means copy. Now we go back into the game. So, and I've got the map selected. So you're out here. Let me just start moving so I get ready to jump. Go back to the map. Paste that in here. Lumens. Select it. Click on the plot route. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to be a few jumps. Go to route settings and make sure it says fastest route selected. I can uncheck jet cones. Don't do economical. Okay, if you do, okay, I'll do economical. It'll add more jumps to it. So you want to make sure it's on fastest route. And then recalculate. And this will stay on whatever you leave it at. So as long as the last time was on max, it'll stay on max. You don't have to check this every time. So it is 5 jumps, which is all right. Exit, and let's just go there.
Frameshift drive charging.
Now, when you do this for the system that you are near, you may find a lot more than one systems. You only really need a minimum of one system to make some money. But it may bring more results, and you can by all means continue jumping to the other systems in the results to make more money. The key thing is we need to make at least $1 million to buy a better ship, and preferably 2 to 4 million to buy an even better ship, and also have some money for you to be able to outfit the ship a little bit as well, not just buy it.
Drive charging.
Now 5 jumps. I don't think this thing has the fuel for 5 jumps, but I'm gonna play it just like you or somebody brand new would, not knowing that your ship has a limited fuel supply. Most people that start the game don't even realize that the ship uses fuel, and eventually that fuel will run out. Because most people don't realize that because it's kind of off in the corner on the right, and you can certainly make 3, 4, 5 jumps without refueling, and it works fine. Now you see this yellow line next to the sun? I can turn that on or off because I have a button map to it.
Warning.
But
Temperature critical.
that line tells you the edge of dangerous temperatures. So if I get it between that line and the sun itself, my ship will drop out of warp and start overheating. So don't go any closer. Now, if you don't have a button map to it, which you probably don't, you can turn it on and off by going to ship and then going to it's one of these. Here we go. Orbit lines. So on or off. That's what changes that yellow line. While you're here, you might as well make sure your sensor is on linear. It's more useful. Crimes report against me should be on unless you're playing with other human players that are your friends, in which case you can put that on off. Gun sight mode, I recommend that people use a trailing mode. I think it's a little easier. It means you're always going to be targeting the ship or whatever you're shooting at. Leading mode has you targeting a little circle, which I find is more difficult for people. Pre-flight checks, you can turn this on once. It'll just kind of walk you through what you need to do as you're getting ready to take off. But it'll self-turn off after that, after the first time, because generally you already know what to do. And then location status, yeah, you might as well show the icons there. If you go all the way down, it'll give you statistics about your ship. You can see our current jump range is just shy of 8 light years. And in here, you can also turn auto dock on and off, auto launch on and off, auto land on and off. Auto land is for landing on planets themselves. Auto dock is for landing in ports. And then hyperspace dethrottle, that should be on. That will keep you from crashing into the sun once you jump. Super Cruise Assist, the way I use it and the way I recommend is putting this on manual throttle. It'll be defaulted to auto throttle, but if you go to manual throttle, then what happens is you can use the speed of the ship to control whether it's on or off. And I'll show you that once we get to the system we're going to. I think we got, what, 3 jumps? Yeah. Left side menu is the 1 key on your keyboard. Right side menu is the 4 key on your keyboard. 2 is your communications up here, which is really text messages. And then 3 looks down, and this is for getting in and out of the ship. Or configuring the suit you're wearing. That's also done in the 3 key menu. See, if I flew straight at that circle, I would fly too close to the sun. So I'm actually going around here. And then targeting here. And then jumping. So 2 more. I don't know if we're going to have enough fuel. We'll find out. And I don't think I have a fuel scoop on here. I certainly didn't put one on there. And I don't think the ship came with it. We'll find out. And again, I'm actually doing this because I'm curious if we run out of fuel. Because I suspect 5 jumps is going to be fairly typical for people. If it's more than 5 jumps, you're absolutely going to run out of fuel. So you will have to refuel somewhere. If it's less than 5 jumps, you may not run out of fuel. So we have 1 jump and we're barely going to make it, but we should make it. Got enough fuel. But let's say we didn't have enough fuel, and I'm just going to check in here. Make sure I don't see a fuel scoop. I do not see a fuel scoop. Okay, so there's no fuel scoop here. We didn't buy one. So if you can't jump all the way, or you're just stuck because you already used all your fuel, your first thing to check is, can I refuel at a station? So go into the options here, select stations. Now this system has several stations. They're all fairly close, so we can just go to the main one here, for example. And we'll turn on Super Cruise Assist so I can show you how to do that. And then we'll refuel at the station. If there were no stations, I would go in here and I would turn on settlements and then see if there are any settlements. You can also refuel at settlements. You can see a whole bunch of them popped up here. If there are no settlements or stations, I would turn on fleet carriers. I'm going to turn these 2 off just so you see. And, okay, I probably flew by where my station was. And you can see there's 1 fleet carrier here. And unfortunately, it's not... Oh, no, it has appropriate landing pads, reputation, not applicable. So it looks like he's letting people dock on there. Not everybody has permissions to let you dock. But let's go ahead and actually turn stations back on, fleet carriers off. Go to this... yeah, I knew I would fly by it. Go to this station. We've got to be really close to it. So if I'm going full speed, I'm just going full speed. But as soon as I slow down to 3/4 speed or less, then Super Cruise Assist automatically kicks in. Now I'm going to accelerate briefly here. I go faster, it turns off. I slow down, it turns back on again. So you can see that by having it on manual mode, your speed manages whether your cruise control is turned on or off. And why do we use cruise control? For this. Because it automatically pulls you out when you reach your destination. Otherwise, I would have actually missed this station. So you can see this is a nice... I like these style of stations more than the cube hexagon ones. These actually look a little more realistic to me. A little cooler. They're actually round. Look a little more like Babylon 5 stations. Alright, so... let's go and dock. Now, you want to get within about 7 kilometers. And then go to your left menu, go to Contacts, Request Docking. And then put your throttle on 0. By doing that, you're going to engage the automatic docking process. So when throttle has to be at 0 for it to self-dock. If you really wanted to, you could do a manual docking too, and you will get plenty of practice in the future doing manual dockings, but generally I only put auto docking on large ships because they're more of a pain to go through here. Little ships like this, you could dock manually all day long and it's not a big deal. But if this is day 2 for you, docking is definitely a big deal. So let the computer do it for you. All right, and now that we're docked, all we needed to do is refuel, which I just did, which is that little teardrop symbol. Now, you could also check what the station has, etc. In fact, one of the things you can do here is if we select the station, you can go into Universal Cartography right here. Select that. And you can see that we can make 4,000 credits by selling our data, which we've accumulated just from jumping to several systems here. So we'll go ahead and sell the page. And we can sell very little of that because these other systems are too close. You have to be, I think, 20,000 light years away, something like that, to sell the data. So we'll go ahead and launch, because really the only reason we were... Okay, this is a pre-flight checklist. So it's going to make me pitch up, pitch down, go through, make sure that I know what joystick button does what. What else? Landing gear test. So I can test my landing gear, but it's also telling me what button pressure is good. Weapon deployment, targeting, fire button, and UI focus, which I never use. So that is the flight check. So, and it should turn off by itself now. If you haven't played the game in a while, maybe it's worth it for you to turn that on just to remember before you fly what all the controls are to fly. But generally, it'll be off. And I'm actually leaving here manually. If I didn't touch the throttle, it would have left here and exited automatically for me. But I was too impatient. And then what we do is I have this button mapped, but we basically just continue the route. If it wasn't mapped, I would just go into navigation here, and I think I would hit the galaxy map and then continue on to this last bit of the route. So we have one last jump to make, and we would have made this technically without refueling, but I wanted to show you what to do in case you refuel. Now, obviously, once we buy a new ship, one of the things to go on that ship will be a fuel scoop so that you never have to stop at a station to recharge. You never have to really pay for fuel unless you wanted to do it quickly, because you'll be able to simply get fuel for free anytime you're next to a star. You're basically scooping hydrogen, which is pretty typical of all science fiction doing it that way. Okay, we're now at the location that we found right here. We're at this Lewensmans, and it's Planet 5A. So the first thing we do is we're going to do a ping. And a ping is kind of a colloquial term. Let me just change some of these settings. Get rid of the lasers. We don't need those. Put all of these on 1s, and then put this on 2. I guess the lasers we can put on 3. Okay, so the ping is your D-scan. But to do that, you need to be in analysis mode, not combat mode. So figure out what key you have mapped to switch between those. It'll be blue in analysis and orange in combat. Now you just hold down your primary fire button or your mouse button, and it'll do a ping. It'll scan the system. It tells us there's 13 bodies. Now you can go and look at the map of the system, and if you don't have a button map to it, you can go here and go to system map on the left. You can see we have a lot of stations in this system. Holy cow. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stations here. And I suspect that's the one and only planet that we can scan that might have life on it. How do I know that? Well, it has an atmosphere, which is that sort of bluish circle. There's a few planets here that have atmospheres. So all these that have the blue circles around them have atmospheres. However, the other symbol that this has is 3 little fingers there, which is really 3 buildings. And this planet has it, this planet has it, and this planet has it. Only 3 planets have them. Those 3 fingers sticking up, or 3 little cities, 3 buildings, which represent cities, mean that you can land on that planet and they have some cities on them. So, like this planet you can land on, and this planet you can land on, but they don't have atmospheres, which means there's no chance that they might have anything growing there. And what we're trying to scan are biological things that are growing there. So this would be the only possible planet in the system that might have something. So that's where we're going to go. Now we know that anyway, that it's 5A, because that's what it said right here. It said 5A right here. So this is why this method is slightly cheaty. I mean, it's not really cheaty. You're just taking data that other people have mapped. And you really only need to do this, well, for as long as you want to make money easily. Eventually, you're going to want to make money using less out-of-game resources and more in-game resources. But this is a good way to start. And you could also randomly fly around until you find a planet that has this type of symbol, and then go there and see what's there. That's kind of the purely using in-game resources method. But there's also other ways to kind of figure out what you want to scan. So we've highlighted it, we selected it. Now we're flying to it. We'll go ahead and turn on so basically show me everything mode. And then scroll down until you see it selected. Okay, we might be too fast right here. I'm going to stop. So it's planet 5A. Let's see. It should be selected here somewhere. Okay, let's just look at planets only. That's okay. 5A, there it is. So I'll turn on Super Cruise Assist and then slow down to 3/4 speed. That'll automatically kick in Super Cruise Assist. And again, if I go faster, Super Cruise Assist turns off. If I slow down, then Super Cruise Assist turns on. For planets, Super Cruise Assist works a little differently. What it does, and we may be going too fast right now. Yeah, I think we're going too fast. But what it does is it puts you in orbit around the planet. Yeah, it's definitely, it thinks we're going way too fast here. So let me manually just spin around and point back at the planet. Now we should be going at a more decent speed. Okay, come on, turn it on, turn it on. Did it turn off? Yeah, okay, it's on. So I've let go of all controls. It's putting me in an orbit around the planet now. So it's just going to keep circling around the planet. It's not going to automatically land. But what we can do here is actually just stop next to the planet. I was kind of hoping we'd be in sunlight, but we're not, which is all right. And then use the thing we bought, which is the surface scanner. So let me click the left button here to get into it. So this is the scanner view. Now, this is the planet that we're looking at. Even though it's dark side, you can still tell that it's blocking stars. And what we want to do is shoot some probes at it. Now it's telling us it's going to need 6 probes to shoot at it. So the way I like to do this is, you see this little, if you start going farther out, you get this little line. That line means if you shoot a probe here, it'll hit exactly on the edge of the planet. So I'm going to go 1, and then go the opposite direction 2, then go bottom, straight bottom 3, and then straight up for number 4. So that's going to be 4 probes. And we're pretty darn close to this planet. Hopefully we're not going to run into it here. And we've scanned it by 51%. Hit backspace to get out of this mode. And I'm just going to make sure that we don't crash into the planet. Now, once again, hit the left button to get back in this mode. And you can see we're looking at the front side. It looks like the whole front side is scanned. If you click the middle mouse button, which is the default, it'll show you that there's a sliver on the back that has not been scanned. But all of the front has been scanned. So to How do you scan behind something? We have to fly around it? No. You go back out here, you go to where that little area is, and then you keep going further out until that line completely disappears. Okay, there's no line anymore, so you can't shoot. Now you go back, and here you can see anywhere between that little vertical hash and where your mouse is going to land at the back of the planet. Okay, so let's look at this again. So here's the sliver we need to cover. So I'm going to draw a line, kind of straight line through the area that we need to cover, past the hash mark, so that make sure it hits behind the planet. Go all the way out to see where the opposite end of the planet is, and then go back to about the middle. And then fire the probe. I'm going to do the same thing in the other direction. I'm going to draw a line until the very... Okay, there's that hash. And then go all the way back. Line disappears, start going back, and then go about to the middle. And then shoot there. Okay, so this was not a great hit, but you can see we're looking at the back of the planet now. Okay, this one was better. So this one landed exactly, I think, to cover the rest of the scan. There we go. Planet has now been fully scanned. You could use Q and E to select what you're looking for. Except that I had everything covered up. So, let me do that again. So planet's already been scanned, but pretend it hasn't. First shot, I go straight down. Second shot, I go straight up. Third shot, I go to the left. Fourth shot, I go to the right where the hash is there. So that gets the 4 basic probes on the planet. And then it'll show me whether we need more in the front or the back. If you need more in the front, make sure it says front view on the bottom right, because you can flip between front and back view. And then, okay, so it says front view, so I can just hit shoot one at the front if that's what we're missing. If you're missing some in the back, this is what I was describing, is you draw that line to the hash mark, and then past the hash mark until it goes away, and then back till about the half or 2/3 mark, and then shoot it there. And then the same thing I did on the other side, go all the way back, bring it back a little bit, shoot it there. And once I was done, it got to 100% scan, and now it's showing us the signals. So you use Q and E to go between what's here, bacteria, stratum, or all. Now we're going to want stratum. Bacteria, I will tell you, is scannable, but it's always the least amount of money for bacteria. So stratum is going to be more money. So hit backspace to get out of that view. And I'll scan another planet. I just realized I had that whole thing covered up. So I will do a better demonstration, but you get the basic idea. So you can see, okay, now it wants to take over. So I need to turn off Super Cruise Assist. And now I'm going to try and land on the sunny side. So the sun's over there. So I'm going to go kind of along the top of the planet here. And I'm going to do this at 3/4 speed. I'm not going to go fast at all. But I'm going to go at 3/4 speed. I'm also going to turn on, just so I can see it, the atmosphere here, which is that thing I was showing you, the yellow line. Well, the blue line's the atmosphere. And then the yellow line is sort of the lower speed area. Like, you can't go very fast once you're below that. I guess that would be the thicker atmosphere. You can see if I keep going straight, there's no more blue there. And what we're looking for is only in the blue area. So I'm going to turn left and then slowly keep going down, but keep pointing at the something blue. Now, can I go straight down? It's going to not like that if I start going straight down. I think about 30 or 40 degrees is about the max. Okay, it's making me a liar because we are going pretty much straight down. Generally, it doesn't like you going more than about 30 degrees. I'll say that. I think it's just I was already going so slow that I didn't care. And now the engines are off. It's just kind of gliding down. And don't worry, it's going to stop by itself. You're not going to crash in the planet. There we go. So it stopped. We're about 3 kilometers up. We're going to come down to way less than 1 kilometer. We want to be probably about 300 meters above the ground. So I'm just going to fly not straight down because, again, there is gravity. So we want to not crash into the planet. That would be bad. But you want to kind of start leveling off as you get lower. And we're going to fly right around 300, maybe 250. And then when you're flying at that height, you can see things are starting to pop up. Now, what's all this junk? So the planet, you can see itself is kind of a brown sand. And there's these splotchy things on here. So every time you get to a planet, if you point your tip of your ship at it, you can see it kind of starts to make a noise and glow blue. So as long as it's pointing there, you can hold your main firing button and it will do a scan of whatever you're looking at. And that just gave me 50,000 more credits. And so this is a green bacteria. Now, these two things look a little different, so feel free to scan both of them. I'll scan this one. Nope. Also green bacteria. It looks different, but it's the same exact thing. How about these yellow things right here that are kind of bumpy? So they clearly look a little different, and we're getting that blue and pinging noise and blue highlight. So let's scan this. And this is a stratum cuminous lime. So that's the one that's going to be worth more money. All right. So put down your landing gear and do a better job of landing than I just did. I didn't like that. Let's try that again. There we go. If you can land there, it'll show you a blue circle under you. If you can't, it'll be a red circle. Now I hit the number 3 key to look down. We want to make sure we have the correct suit put on. You go to loadouts. Make sure your Artemis suit is selected. That's the one we bought. Because you can't do it in your default suit. It has to be your Artemis suit. And then do a disembark. How pretty does that look? See, you can actually see that there's an atmosphere. It's a very slight atmosphere on this planet. But there is definitely an atmosphere. Enough to have some life. You've got a little bit of a jetpack, but not much. You can kind of jump and then hit space again to go up even more. Just, try not to bounce around too much. And then we're going to select our scanning tool. You do that by hitting 3, 3, and 3 again. So that's 3 times. Walk up to a plant. It says ready to sample. Go ahead and sample. Hold down the left or the main primary fire button. And it'll say, okay, 1 of 3 samples collected. So what does that mean? Well, we have to scan 3 different ones of these. Now, if you try to scan this, it says sample unavailable, insufficient genetic diversity. If you right ping, it's showing things in blue instead of green. And that means you already have a sample of this. So what it wants you to do is get a sample of another one that is some distance away. And that distance will vary between 100 meters and 500 meters, I believe. I think the furthest one, well, maybe there might be one that's even further than 500. But either way, get in your ship. You can walk, but what I like to do is get in the ship and then fly. And try and fly to one that's, a few hundred meters away. Now, we can land here and we can try doing a ping, see if it's still blue, if this is too close. But why bother? Let's just keep flying further away. As long as we can see some up ahead of us, then there's no reason to scan the closest one. So this is probably far enough away. I think we're several kilometers out. Just wait till your circle is blue down there in the middle. If you see on the bottom middle, slowly go down. It'll make a little bumpy noise. Go hit 3 and then go ahead and disembark. And let's go get our second scan. Where is it? It's right there. Okay. So well, I could have landed a little closer, I guess. Hit 3 times. Now I'm going to hit the right mouse button here, and you see it's not blue, it's green, which is what we want. Get up nice and close. Hold down the other mouse button or the other joystick button to do your next scan. Obtained, scan 2 out of 3. So we're going to repeat this one more time. Get back to the ship. Board. And I think we probably didn't need to fly as far as I did. But again, I don't like wasting time, so I don't want to fly to this one and get out and then say, no, that's too close, and then fly to this one and then get out. No, that's too close. I'd rather just fly a ways out as long as I can see some up ahead until I know I've flown several kilometers, like for sure this is several kilometers now. And then I'll just go ahead and land over here. And incidentally, if you go in here into the ship controls and then you go into this screen, remember I said put auto land to off. I prefer off, so I manually land, but if you wanted to, you can turn auto land on and then the ship will just sort of land for you as soon as it's blue. So I'm not touching anything, it's doing the landing by itself. Now, why do I like it on manual? Because if that option is turned on, it's going to continuously try and land while you're flying, as long as your landing gear is down. So if you remember to always put away your landing gear, you could do auto landing. I usually forget to put away my landing gear, or at least initially I forget it. Eventually I can figure it out. And so it's kind of annoying because it'll keep trying to land me. Okay, 3 times. Ping, it's green, that's what we want. This should be the 3rd out of 3. And here we go. Cool. We got some stuff. Stratus Cumulus, when it takes off that canister like that, it means you're done scanning this particular plant. Now, did we get paid? No, we did not. You don't get paid until you bring it in and you sell it. So let's board the ship again. Luckily, you can sell it in pretty much any large station. So let's go ahead and take off. Now I'm going to take off without turning off the auto land. And if I start flying forward here, you can see that as long as I'm moving, it's okay, right? But as soon as I start slowing down, let's say I just want to look at this patch, it's starting to land me. Like all I wanted to do is turn to look, but it's trying to land me. Now if I put my gear away, then yes, now it's not going to try and land you. You can fly around, but quite often when you're looking for these plants, I will be flying with my gear down. But it's a personal preference. You can leave it on auto landing like this. All right, let's get out of the atmosphere. Come on. Now remember, there's a ton of stations in this system. So I'm going to put the ship on full throttle, pointing up to about 90 degrees. And then I'm going to look on my map. We're right here. This is the closest station to us, Web City. So you just hold the button down over it. That'll select it. And then we
Frameshift drive charging.
put it on the escape factor to get into warp.
3.
And full throttle, of course. And now, kind of see if we can fly to that station. Okay, so 2 things. 1, don't get too close to the planet because we're trying to leave it. The lower you are, the slower you go. So you may want to actually go like this and fly away from the planet a little more to gain some speed. The other thing is you can see Web City has a dashed outline around it. That means it's behind a planet. So if you go in a straight line to it, you're going to hit the planet. So you have to go around that planet as well. Now, we're still accelerating. We're still getting further away from the planet that we were on. You can see in the middle there, our altitude is about 280 now, 300, 350, 400. Once we get up to past that OC line, now we're going to start gaining speed a lot faster. We're in free space now, no longer being held by the planet. So if I go and look behind us, you can see that we've now gotten quite a ways from the planet, and we're accelerating out away from it even further. All right. So we want to go over there, but we want to go around that planet. So put throttle on full. You can see that Web City is going to be on this side of the planet because its circle is kind of on the right side of this planet. Now I'm going to start slowing down. I'm already going kind of too fast. You want to go about 7 or 8 seconds. That's actually not the time, but it's kind of it'll be adjusted based on your speed. So you can see we're getting closer, but that number is going up, which means it's going to take longer to get there than it would have. And use that number as a calculation of your speed. Don't use it to estimate exactly how long it'll take to get there. So I'm going to go at 3/4 speed. I can actually go at full speed until I get to 8 seconds and then go to 3/4 speed. And actually, as I'm going here, well, let's jump out first. So to automatically jump, well, let's do a manual jump. You can see it says joystick force disengage. So if I hit that, I'll jump out manually. The other alternative was doing what I had previously done, which is select, well, we haven't selected here Web City. I would have had Super Cruise Assist turned on. This is a cool station. Man, I like this. I like this place. Very cool station. And you can see some nebulas here. This is very cool indeed. So let's get a little closer. We want to be less than 7.5 kilometers. So usually when I get to about 7, I'll hit the number 1 screen, go to contacts, and then hit request docking, and then we should automatically dock. There we go.
Automated docking initiated.
I don't think I've ever been to this station. In fact, I'm positive I've never been to this station. So it'll be interesting to see what ships they have for sale, because once we turn in our scans, we will be able to buy a much better ship immediately, and then continue doing some more scans, but with a longer jump range. And we have multiple stations here so if something's not available in this station, it's very likely that it's available in a different station, and we'll be able to use Inara to tell us that without even having to visit other stations. Okay, so landed. Now, since we scanned these on foot, we have to sell them on foot. So you're going to select the disembark menu on the very bottom here, which will bring your ship into a hangar. Like that. And drop us out. And we'll just walk right into, well, we're going to run. I'm always running if I can. Hit E. Go up here. So, first thing is go up again, up the stairs. So we can sell this. You're going to go to Vista Genomics.
Vista Genomics. Can I help you?
Yes.
Oh, you have some data.
I'd like to
Vista
sell my
strives
data.
to learn everything it can
Look at
about
that,
the
16
cosmos.
million. So our money is going to go from like 100,000 to 16 million. Boom.
Can I
Okay.
help you with anything else?
At this
Thank
point,
you for your
I've got more,
contribution to our
but let's
research.
pretend you have 16 million. Well, that's plenty for a number of things. The first thing we're going to do is run across the way to Pioneer Supply.
I'm looking for someone with a gun.
We're going to check
You've
to
got the
see what
best
they have in
stock in the
stock.
system.
Okay, they only have 3 suits. Well,
Good idea.
you already
Make
have
sure
the
you've got
Artemis
the right
suit. You
suit
bought
for the
that.
job.
You don't have the Maverick suit yet, and you don't have the Dominator suit. So you can, and these are pretty cheap, right? 150,000, given that you just got 16 million from one scan. You could buy one of each, but sometimes they're available in grade 2 or grade 3. And as you can imagine, grade 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 1 and 2. So if you're not planning on going and using these immediately, you may want to just look every time you're at a station, check to see what's available and see if a grade 2 or a grade 3 of this, or a grade 2 or 3 of this, or even a grade 2 or 3 of the Artemis is available. Because you couldn't afford a grade 2 or 3 Artemis initially, but you can now. So they don't have any of them available, so I'm not going to buy anything. Let's check guns.
Sure. Take a look around.
Okay, a variety of guns available. They don't have the ones that I like, which are the plasma rifles. So I'm not going to buy anything. But also, guns can come in 1, 2, or 3 grades as well. And obviously, grade 3 gun does more damage than a grade 2, which does more damage than grade 1. So don't buy a grade 1 gun unless you need one immediately. Just do look to see if they have a grade 3 gun available and buy those. They're more expensive, but they're better. And you can upgrade guns. If you buy a grade 1, you can get it to grade 3, but not for a while because that takes a lot of resources. So,
Come
goodbye.
back when you're ready.
You look like someone who can handle themselves.
Now we're going to buy a ship, and you do that right here at
Just me and my
Inter
ship roaming the
Astra.
stars? Sounds like a good life.
go up to this person right here.
I'll be over here if you need any help.
We need help.
Wonderful. Let me help you find the ship of your dreams.
Yes, let's.
I'm here if you have any questions.
Okay, so we're going to go to purchase ships. So this is what we were in. This little piece of shit Sidewinder. Eagle is basically your smallest military-focused ship. Hauler is somewhat of a misnomer because the hauler, let me see if I can show the details on it. The hauler actually doesn't have that much room for hauling things. But what it does have is the best jump range of any small ship at this price point. Now you can get other small ships that are much more expensive. But this thing's only 52,000 and the Sidewinder, well, you got it for free, so it was 0, but if you bought another one, it would be 32,000. So it's not even double the price of a Sidewinder, but it's a much better ship. It has much more room on the inside. You could do a lot more with it. And in the old days, this would have been the first natural upgrade because, frankly, that's all we can afford because we couldn't scan biologicals back then. It was not a thing. And so, like, we're walking in here with 16 million that we just made off of one scan. In the past, that was impossible. I would have walked in here after about an hour to 2 hours with maybe 150,000. So things are much easier now than they ever used to be. So we could actually keep scrolling and see what else is available. Corba Mark 3, another nice little ship. Diamondback Explorer. Now this thing is 2 million. We're getting into that price range. Very, very good ship for exploration. Has one of the largest jump ranges. And up until literally the end of last year was the #1 most used exploration ship out there. So we just made 16 million. We can't afford the Python, which is another great ship. They don't have a lot of the other ships in the $3 to $4 million range. They're just not available. The grayed out ones here. The Mandalay is kind of what took over from the Diamondback Explorer as the best exploration ship. But since we're going to be doing more of these scanning missions to make some more money so we can really not have to worry about money for a while, we're going to go ahead and buy that. So it'll be 1.8 million out of the 16 that I got. Ignore this number. This is got, like I said, I've done some Thargoid stuff which made me crazy money already in this account. So purchase ship, yes. Okay, now that we've purchased it, let's go ahead and get into it because we're going to need to outfit it.
Thank you for choosing Interastra.
Now at this point, so you figure it's about 2 million. So you're down to about 14 million. I'll do the mission guys in a separate video. I would not recommend that being one of the first things you do. First thing is to get to a comfortable level of finances to where you can buy the appropriate ship for the task and not have to worry about how much money you have. So this is a very pretty ship. I still like the way it looks. After all these years of playing the game, it's one of my favorite looking ships. I think they did a pretty good job with it. Now, it's bigger than the little tiny one that we just got out of, but it's still just a one-person ship. So let's go ahead and get into it. And when we're in it, we'll go ahead and outfit it. You can do that by going to Starport Services. And then you go to this icon over here that I have selected on the bottom called Outfitting. So this lets you fully configure the ship. The first thing we're going to do, you can see that on the bottom it tells me my maximum jump range is 17 light years. Or 15.6 with the current setup. Now the Sidewinder, the ship that we just got out of, that had a jump range of 8. So this is already double that range. But it's going to get much better. So we're not going to worry about putting any weapons on here for now. This is not really a combat ship. It's an exploration ship. This can put some utility mounts. So let's see what they have in stock. We may or may not put something on here. So one of the things you can put in that you will need is a wake scanner. They have a D-rated and an E-rated. We're going to be looking for A-rated things. So generally the quality chart on parts goes from A to F or A to E. I don't know. Some items may be F-rated as well. A being the best and E being the worst. Also, D-rated are not great, but they are very light. So we're not going to buy any of these for now because they don't have the A's in stock. And we're not going to do mining, so we're not going to buy that for now. So we'll leave that empty for now. For internals. So this is sort of what the ship has to have. The power plants providing power. Remember, I said it's A through whatever letter, E or F. So this has the worst version of everything when you first buy it. So we're going to want to upgrade all this stuff. First thing we're going to try and upgrade is the frame shift drive. Let's see what they have for sale. So we're going to put in the largest one that fits, which would be a size 5. The best one they have is a 5C or a 4A. Now, it has a size 5 drive. Right now, I think it's a 5E is what's in there right now. If we go with a size 5C, you can see on the bottom, it's updated in blue. Our range would go to 24 light years, which is quite good. If we put in an A-rated, but a size smaller, which is also possible, it would be 17 light years. And if we just leave it alone, it's going to be 17 light years. So since they don't have an A-rated one, we're going to leave that as is. Let's check thrusters. Thrusters, they have size 4A. What do we need? 4E right now, so size 4 is what we need. So we're going to put size 4A thrusters in there. We're going to have buy and equip. And that significantly increases our speed when we're not in warp. Now, we're also getting close to our power limit here, so we're going to replace the power plant as well. Let's see what they have. What's their best? They have a 4A power plant. What do we have right now? We have a 4E. So let's replace that 4E with a 4A. And you can see that we're going to double the amount of power that this ship can produce. So They didn't have the frame drive. How about life support? Let's see if they have a... Now, life support is a little different because we're actually looking for a D-rated life support because this is not a military ship. It's also size 3, and they don't have any size 3 life support, so we're going to have to get that elsewhere. Power distributor, this controls how quickly your guns or your engines, how quickly they recharge, or your shields. So we want to put an A-rated power distributor if they have it. They have a 4A, so we'll go ahead and buy it. Boom. Now we've got the highest quality power distributor in here. How about sensors? Sensors, again, not a military ship, so we can actually go with D-rated sensors for lighter, but they only have A and B. So let's get A. We'll have the best. So in the military ship, you would typically put in A-rated sensors. Some people still put Ds even in military, but if you're going to put any sensors in at all in here, either put A-rated and then don't improve their range because it's already pretty good, and instead lighten them with engineering later, or get D-rated and you'll have to engineer the range to be longer on those. But I would have put typically Ds in here, but they didn't have them, so we'll put As. Fuel tank is the one thing you never have to replace. It's already in there, and it's a decent size. Certainly decent size for the ship. So the main thing we have to replace is frameshift drive. Should probably replace the life support for a lighter version of life support, but that's not super important. So we kind of got everything except for the frameshift drive here. Let's look at our optional internals, see what this has. So we have a docking computer and a super cruise assist. That's good. I would leave both of those for what we're doing. We are going to need to add the same thing we added to the other ship, which was a was one of the scanner things. What was it called? And it looked like they didn't have it. So I'm actually gonna yank it off the other ship. I'm gonna go load in our Sidewinder, use this ship, and it was the planetary probe thing. So go back to services, go to outfitting. And now let's go to optional, and it's this detailed surface scanner. You click on that and you hit on the store module button. That will store it. There's nothing else really worth taking off of here because that was the only part we purchased. All the rest of this is kind of crappy quality. You can see everything is E-rated, which is like the worst quality. So we'll go back. We'll switch ships again by using the shipyard. Select your Diamondback Explorer. Use this. And go back to Starport Services, outfitting. Now in optional, we'll go ahead and put that item, the surface scanner. And you can see it's yellow, which means we're not buying it. We're using one that we already own. We'll put that right on there. Perfect. So let's see, what else does this have? And what does it not have? We have a shield generator, a crappy one. Let's get rid of that. We'll sell that. I mean, we don't get anything back for it because it's part of what we bought with the ship. We have some cargo racks. So in here, I'm going to put a fuel scoop. That will allow us, and they do have a 4A. You always want to have an A-rated fuel scoop because the rating really determines how much it's going to be able to scoop or how quickly it'll fill up your tank. And a 4A is going to be nice and quick. And then it's got some cargo racks. It actually has them. I'm going to move them because it has them in the wrong slots. It has them in one slot larger than it needs to be. So we have our surface scanner. We have our docking computer, all that stuff. We're going to add a limpet controller here as well. And the most common limpets that you're going to use doing anything are going to be the ones they don't have here. Great. Which would be collector limpets. So normally I would put it in collector limpets. Probably the second most common will be repair limpets. Repair limpets obviously can repair either your ship or somebody else's ship. Collector limpets will be able to collect things that are floating in space. However, they do have multi-limpet controllers. which we can look and see which ones they have. They do have an Operations B. Now, Operations limpets can also collect. The problem is they're not quite as good as just a native limpet controller. They also weigh more, which means it slightly lowers your jump range. And you can see as I'm moving this around in the bottom, the jump range is going down. So our range right now is 16.3 as is. If we add this multi-limpet controller with Operations limpets, it's going to go down to 15.6. Now, I'm still going to do this because I want to show you this controller. But ideally, you would just put in a collector limpet in there. But we'll go ahead and buy that. The multi-limpet controller basically does the job of several different types of limpet controllers. Limpets are drones. So if you haven't figured out what a limpet is, it's just a drone. So this is just a drone controller. And if we read the description on this thing, Operations Limpet Controller, capable of deploying a collector, a recon, and a hatch breaker limpet. You're not going to use hatch breakers unless you're doing illegal missions to break into another ship and steal some things. But maybe you will do illegal missions, so this will do it for you. Recon limpets. These do have some use, but generally also an illegal use, because you're going and plugging them into a ship that isn't yours, and you're trying to get data about it. However, the collector limpet is very useful for a lot of things. And this particular controller, the Operations Limpet B controller, has the longest range limpets of any of the multi-controllers. So that's the one I'm going to leave in there. And then the thing that we sold, if you remember, was the shield. So I'll go ahead and put a shield back on here. And we sold an E. We can put a C or a biweave C or a B on here. What do you need a shield on an exploration ship? Mainly for bouncing off the ground and not damaging the ship. That is really the main purpose of the shield, is to absorb impact. I would like to put an A-rated shield in here. So I'm not going to put any of these shields in here for now. The biweave is interesting. This type of shield called a biweave charges much faster, but gives you about half to 2/3 of the shield power. So compared to a normal shield. So I could put this in, but really we're not concerned with a fast recharging shield. If all we're worried about is bouncing off a planet, we're concerned about taking the most damage from that bounce without damaging a ship. And I would get the B, but the B is the heaviest of all the shields, and it would cut more into our jump range. So I'm not going to get anything for now. We're going to go to another land and another station to get these last two items, which would be the shield as well as the frame shift drive, jump drive. Now, to do that, switch back in here. My other tab here is Inara, inara.cz. We're going to go to data, search nearest. We're going to make sure that our location is in here. And what is our location right now? Go back in here, check where we are, that I never remember. We are at Lhu Mans. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is put that in here. Make sure that LHOUMANS is the closest star system. Then click on outfitting. Okay, I probably should have clicked on outfitting first, then put in LHOU mans. There we go. Closest system. And what we're going to be looking for is going to be a frame shift drive. And we're looking for a size 5, A-rated, and SCO, that combination. So keep scrolling here. 5, size 5A, frame shift drive, SCO. Select that. And then the next thing we're looking for is a shield. And it was a, what size shield was it? Go back in here. Show that. And I'll check the shield size real quick. I think it's a 4. Yeah, it's size 4 shield. So let's go down here. So a 4A, not a shield cell bank, but a size 4A shield generator. There we go. And then hit search. Closest location is Sabine Gateway in this system. Okay, cool. So we are at Web City right now. We're going to open this up and go to Sabine Gateway, which is right there. Just 2 planets over. And do auto launch. So luckily, and this is probably not going to be the case for you, I happen to be in the system for doing the scan of the plant, which has this crazy amount of stations, 8 stations in here, which means that I didn't really have to go far. I'm flying out manually here, by the way, just to speed things up, and I should probably turn that window off, right? Yeah, there we go. And okay, and it just took over to do it for me. Come on, let me do it. Let me do it manually. Okay, there we go. Now we can get out of here. You can see how much faster we are with the new ship, with the new drives that are upgraded. This is by no means as fast as it can go. It can go quite a bit faster with engineering. But this is just way faster than it was before. It's kind of weird not seeing the shield around, but we didn't buy one. And let's see, I guess we're going to have to go around this planet. So the first thing I'm going to do is just accelerate up. And then eventually, after we start moving a little quicker, I will point the ship in the appropriate direction. There we go. Now I just have to pull up. Right there, Sabine Gateway. And then I'll put it on, make sure it's selected here. Scroll down till I see it. Actually, I'll put it on stations just so it'll be a little shorter list to look at. Sabine Gateway, put it on Super Cruise Assist. And now I can fly 3/4 the speed and get there. And I could also fly faster, but I'm going to grab a drink real quick. Okay. Walk downstairs to the fridge. Got my stuff. Now we can accelerate and then slow back down again. Again, by having this on manual right here in the ship. Where is it? Right here. Manual throttle on Super Cruise Assist. I can simply use the throttle to turn it off and on. If I'm at 100%, it's off. As soon as I get to under 100%, down to 3/4 or less, then it turns on. That easy to flip it on and off, which is why I use the manual mode. All right, let's just let it keep decelerating here. And another cool looking station. You can see on the bottom left there, what it's showing you is what the station actually looks like. So that version of the image, or the image that you see, is exactly what it's going to look like once we get there. What type of station it is. And once I finish buying this stuff, the video is basically over. I mean, you guys have seen everything I've done. But the last thing I want to do is scan one more planet, which is going to be the planet we just flew past. Because I had that other window on top of the planet when I was scanning it originally. So for anybody that wants to watch that doesn't know how to scan a planet using probes, I'll have that in just a few minutes at the very end of the video. So you can watch it. If you already know how to scan using the probe launcher, then don't worry about it. You've gotten everything you need for this. And the next video, the day 3 video, we're going to, I'm going to assume you will have gone through and gotten some more money. You will, God, I love these things. These are beautiful stations. Whenever they look like this, more than the octagonal, hexagonal ones, I just feel like these are so much more realistic. All right, we're within the range, so let's request docking and let the auto dock take care of it. And there are 2 things we're buying here. Put the window back on here. We're buying the frame shift drive and the shield generator here. And again, in whatever system you're in, you may have found all of those in the same station. You may have found none of those available in that system. And you may need to do a few jumps to find all the higher quality components. But you certainly should have sufficient money to be able to fully outfit the ship and have plenty left over. There we go. First thing I always do is select the teardrop to get my fuel refueled. Like that. And then let's take a look at our components. When you hit outfitting, it'll automatically drop you down to the hangar. And try and load the screen that lets you tweak your ship while it's doing that. There we go. So go down to core internals. First thing is going to be the frame shift drive. We've got our crappy one. And remember, we're at 1567 as configured with 17 max. And that means that 17 is an impossible number. Like that's with 0 fuel. So this middle one, the 15.67, is the more realistic number. So we're going to replace that with an 5A SCO. And you can see that there's also non-SCO drives available here, but you want the SCO. That gives you longer range and some additional functionality where you can kind of turn on the nitros or the turbo as you're flying within the system and get faster speed. So always buy the SCO version. We'll go ahead and buy it. So this was $6 million. This was probably the single most expensive piece. And that, I think from our original 16 million, that probably dropped it down to about, you probably are about 4.5 million at this point, after buying all these components. And then, what was the last thing? Oh, the shield. Yeah. Shield generator, 4A, 1.6 million. And we'll go ahead and buy that. And alternatively, you can, if you're going for really low weight, you can get a D-rated one, but they don't have a 4D. They only have a 4A and B here. But like for size 3, you can see the 3A is 5 tons. The 3D is 2 tons. The Ds are always much lighter, but they're also a lot less powerful as well. So if we go, we can actually hit Z down here to compare shield strength. So shield strength between the A with an A, it would be 128. With a D, it would be 83. So you're giving up about 1/3 of your, you're going from 12 to 8, basically. You're losing 1/3 of your shield by going from A to D, but you're also cutting your weight in more than half. And also the power consumption goes from 2.5 to 1.44. So sometimes using D for a ship, especially non-military ships, makes some sense. And you could also check the hitting Z again here. If you look at D, it gives you 36.7 jump range. A drops that just a little bit, 36.49. Not significant enough to worry about. But we're going for 4A, and that drops it to 36, which is still 36 light years compared to you had 8 on the starter ship. So, yeah, significant. It's about 4.5 times more jump range per jump in this configuration. And now we've got this fitted pretty much the way we want it to. The big difference is going to be what you want to do for cargo racks. If you're only flying with inside the bubble, you can refuel by simply doing stopping at stations, right? Then you can take out the fuel scoop and put a cargo rack in there and you'll have more cargo space. If you want to do longer range, then you definitely want to keep the fuel scoop. If you're going to be going outside of the bubble, the area of known space with stations in it, into the black, as they say, you're going to also want to add, instead of this cargo rack, you're going to want to add a repair limpet controller as well. In fact, the operations may become optional at that point, or even the collector is going to be optional because the repair will be more important to have with you. There's a few changes that you do depending on how you use the ship. But right now, this is a good, basic, good for everything type ship setup. All right. So at this point, then, if you know how to do the planet scans, then I will see you in the next video. And, let me try and turn in the universal cartography here. Okay, I still can't sell it. We're still too close. So all this stuff is sellable, but only once we jump further out. Now, couple things here too. We do have that limpet controller, but no limpets. You need to buy those limpets yourself by going to advanced maintenance. We might as well fix the ship while we're at it, and then go to this little guy. This is what a limpet looks like. Little drone. So restock limpets purchase. We have room for 12 of them, so let's get 12 of them.
Cargo hold at maximum
Cargo holds
capacity.
full, and now I'll go ahead and auto launch, and I'll do a probe scan of the planet for anybody that wants to see what that looks like, because I had the window covering it up previously. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one.
Landing gear retracted.
Landing coupler disengaged. What's wrong?
It is actually pretty quick to have it do the auto launch. Okay, where's the planet here? Is that it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so we'll just go towards it. Get a little further away from the station. Everything's A-rated on here now. We're all in good shape. Let's go ahead and launch.
Drive charging.
I like to point the nose a little bit, not at the planet so you don't crash into it, but like just past the planet, right? Now let's fly a little closer to it. So we'll keep accelerating here a little bit. And then, let's see. We want to be in regular analysis mode. Oh yeah, we got to configure that too. So this is probably good enough. I'm going to stop the ship, go to my right side menu, go to modules or fire groups, and we need to set up our fire groups. Turn off the lasers that we don't need. This is my standard setup, is to have these all be on 1 on the left side and the surface scanner on 2. Next, we're going to set up the collector on 1, and we'll probably do the pulse lasers on 2. And then we can have the hatch breaker on 1 and the recon on 2, or just not have them at all, because I don't think we're going to ever use them, honestly. We'll just use the collector. All right, now at this point, we got it configured. You hit the surface scanner, and here's what you didn't see last time. You aim at the little hash. Shoot it to the left, shoot it to the right, shoot it down below, shoot it up above, and wait till they all land. Now, you can click the middle mouse button to switch between the front view or the back view of the planet. You can see that, let's look at the front view. So this is the front view. So here's our 4 scanner hits. So we're going to want something right in the middle. So point right at the middle, shoot one more. That'll be the 5th one. And if we click the middle mouse button, that goes to the back. You can see we're also missing a pretty large area in the back. So to hit this area, draw this line out all the way until the end, until it disappears. Then go back just a little bit and then shoot it. And that hopefully will hit it somewhere towards the middle of the back. The front is totally done now. We're at 80%. It's just the back that we need to fill. And ideally, and like you could take more than 6 shots to do this, but if you use more than 6, you don't get a bonus. If you do this within 6, then you get a nice bonus out of this. There we go. We got it exactly in 6.
Complete.
So that's how you scan the planet. And there's nothing here. Unlike the planet we were at, it's saying it's not listing anything for us to look at, which means that this planet does not have any life on it. And hit the backspace key to get out of that mode. I don't know why those keys are different, honestly, because you hit the fire button to get into it, but then you got to hit the backspace to get out of it. It is what it is. All right, guys, that is the end of the video. I will see you in the next one.